You made it! Alright, is it working? Can you see me? Hello, YouTube. I'm new here. New account, who dis? Can you see me? Can you hear me? I don't have my tablet hooked up yet, so it'll be back and forth as I look at the chat. But anyway, welcome to my YouTube debut. This is the no words are hard. This is the new home of Kitchen Heathens. We live here now. We're going to be starting off easy by doing some simple Chinese food. We're going to be doing Chao fan, which is Chinese style fried rice, as well as, I'm still learning this name, Zan Hua Tang, which is the Chinese word for egg drop soup, or the Chinese name for egg drop soup, which translates to roughly egg flour soup, but if you put it all together, apparently it means funeral. And I was like, that took a dark turn really fast. But anyway, I know bubble, but hear your bubble. I can hear and see you. Wonderful, wonderful. And we're also going to be doing a chicken and vegetable stir fry with Chinese white sauce. I could not find an official name for this dish. I do know that Chinese white sauce is usually referred to in China as Chinese clear gravy, and it's one of my favorite stir fry sauces out there. So we're going to go ahead and get started by preparing our vegetables and slicing up our chicken. We've already got our rice from yesterday. Day-old rice is what you want to be using for stir fry. Fresh rice can be used in a pinch, but it's going to get mushy. You want the rice to have cooled and hardened so that it'll hold up to the tossing. Otherwise, you end up with a squishy mush. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already washed and prepared my vegetables. These have already had their skins scrubbed off, so we're just going to worry about peeling. Let's see, that camera's working. Wonderful. One second, let me grab my tablet. Revenant, would you be a dear and log my tablet into YouTube so I can look at the chat on my tablet? Here's what you need. All right. Sorry about that. I don't like not being able to see my chat. Let's see. I have to teach you to say that properly. Thank you, Uncommon. I would appreciate that. I should probably eat too. The YouTube encoder is so much better. Good. All right. So we have carrots, zucchini. I wanted to get a zucchini and a summer squash, but the store didn't have summer squash, and I was not going around the lake to the other store. We have our fresh ginger and our garlic, an onion, some broccoli. I'm going to gently steam the broccoli in the pan before we cook everything else so that they don't go to pieces too fast. Cabbage, you gotta have cabbage. And obviously green onions and mushrooms. I love me some mushrooms. There we go. I also have chicken over here that is still partially frozen. If you want to thin slice your meat, you want to make sure it's partially frozen and you have a good sharp knife, and then you can make those really nice, beautiful thin slices. All right, let's start by chopping things up. Broccoli first, even though this is the messy one. All right, so we're going to take the butt off of here. Break that up into slightly smaller pieces. Let's see. So what is everyone else eating today? Now you can save these pieces and throw them into the stir fry too, and I'm going to eat them. I just take the big part off the bottom, which is the really fibrous part. That'll be going in the compost, but the pieces of the broccoli that are up here are still tender enough to be eaten. And this part of the broccoli is called the floret, but the whole thing is called a head. Now, if you didn't know, broccoli is technically a flower. I got to find this out the first time I tried to grow broccoli. I was sitting there watching the heads, and I didn't know when they were ready to be picked until it was too late and they had gone to flower. But at least now I know. Oh. So a little bit of history about fried rice is the dish was originally made to use leftover foodstuffs, rice, meat, vegetables from the day before that would go bad and wasn't really fresh, but was still good to eat. That's one of the reasons you're supposed to use day-old rice. Go. Now we're going to be going with a simple egg fried rice, nothing too ostentatious, but you can add vegetables to your fried rice, or you can also add shrimp, chicken, any leftover meat you might have. Tofu, I like fried tofu. I'm not sure if that's exactly a Chinese version, but I do enjoy fried tofu. Yeah, it's fine. Big, small enough. Of your love. I need a bigger bowl. There. All my florets are ready. We're just gonna gently set these aside if they'll stay on the bowl. Get in there. Get in there. Stay. Okay, we're gonna set this aside and hope they don't jump. See. Uncommon coming in with the facts. Fun fact, China doesn't have Western style broccoli. No, they do not, but Chinese broccoli was not available at the corner store where they only have white people food. So I had to make do with what I had. But there is Chinese broccoli. It's called geilan. If it looks like I have to get really close to the computer, I can't see very well. Alrighty, let's also prepare our carrots. So I went for some long, thin boys, so I don't have to cut them in half. Set that aside. And then we're going to cut them on the bias, which means diagonally. They're making a break for it. And you want them to be somewhat thin, but not too thin, so they retain their crunch, but they also cook somewhat. If you like your vegetables cooked to a powder, stir fry might not be the correct cooking method for you, because in order to get a vegetable that soft, you're going to end up burning it. But if you like your vegetables to still have a little crunch to them, then stir fry is an excellent method. We're going to be using the smaller wok for the fried rice and the bigger wok for the stir-fried vegetables. Dun, dun, dun. Gailan. Thank you for the enunciation. And who is coming over from Twitch knows that Uncommon is coming in with all the facts, but if you're new here, Uncommon is our Google master. Also, Uncommon, I need you to send me your YouTube landing page link so I can make you a mod later. Evie's already been promoted. You're up next. You can also use a mandolin slicer to do this part. Just make sure to pay attention so you don't cut your fingers off. Crumped. Okay. Mhm. So what we're going to do is we're going to, after we finish preparing the vegetables, we're going to go ahead and prepare the white sauce for the stir fry, and then get the egg drop soup ready because the fried rice and the stir fried vegetables and chicken do not take long to make once you've got everything together. Oh, right, carrots. Alrighty, now we're gonna go ahead and cut this little guy in half. This is a zucchini. Like I was saying earlier, I also wanted to get a summer squash, but they didn't have any. Go. Hmm. To the compost. See. And for anybody watching the recorded video, feel free to just go ahead and skip past the veggie prep if you don't want to watch this part. It will not hurt my feelings. I'm still working on my knife skills. It's a work in progress. I've come a long way, though. Especially since I remembered that I'm supposed to sharpen my knives. Go, Joe, get back up there. Right? Let's go ahead and chop my onion up. Doop, 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 doop. So I don't want these to be small pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the center pieces out. Go. And I'm going to break them apart, just so I don't have to do it in the pan. It can be a hassle to do that in the pan. Go. Bum, bum, bum. Oop. Now breaking them apart isn't necessary. I just like to do it so I don't have to attack the pan with the spatula later. My eyes burn. The onion is fighting back as usual. The onions. They're fighting for their lives. Whew. Hang on. I struggle with onions. They always get me. So usually if I'm not streaming, I'll have my husband cut up the onions because for some reason, onions do not affect him in the slightest. Does he cook? No. But is he very good at cutting up onions at this point? Yes, he is, because I have taught him how. I just have to tell him how I want the onions and he gets it done. It's his one talent in the kitchen. I've seen that man cut up like 4 onions and completely mince them up into little tiny pieces and nary a tear. Let's see. Hi, Luna! Welcome in. Did you get pictures of the animals for us for the Discord? I did take a second for my eyes to recover from being assaulted by the onions. And I'm breaking my onions apart so I don't have to do it with the spatula later. Here we go. Perfect. Right, those are ready. Yeah. You gotta post later once I'm not dehydrated. That's fair, that's fair. I read that once I am dehydrated. It's like, gosh darn it, who put Luna in the dehydrator again? Go. Right, this is my compost bucket. So I don't have to keep making the trip out to the compost pile every time I finish off with the vegetables, although it's basically full, so I'm going to have to do that soon anyway. All right, so also the cabbage. I'm going to need a slightly bigger bowl for the cabbage, because once it's all fluffed out, it takes up a lot more room than everything else. All right, so there are different kinds of cabbages. What we had available to us is a savory cabbage. So we're going to be using this one, but typically in Asia, you would be using like a Napa cabbage or something. I'm not entirely sure if they have this type of cabbage over there. All right, so I'm going to cut it in half. Cut it in half again. Now, all of these vegetables I have already prepared by washing. This one still has a damaged leaf on it and more or less peeling. All right, and then we're going to take the center stem out. And cut it into smaller pieces. Like that. So that they will go in and stir fry well. I find it always really interesting because cabbage has a slight peppery scent to it, but it's not peppery tasting. Well, I don't know. I've never actually tried raw cabbage. For science. Yeah, no, the peppery scent doesn't really transfer over into taste. Cabbage. There we go, cabbage. Let's see. I did, but I forgot to take her out of the dehydrator bubble. Let's see. That cut really easily, all things considered. Indeed. Does YouTube have auto captions like the other place did? I do not know. I am hard of hearing, so it might be nice to look into it. I will definitely look into that, Luna. Revenant, I hope you're taking notes. You don't have any more spoons? Okay, that's fair. I like raw cabbage. Maybe I'll do cabbage in your bento. Ooh, that sounds nice. I look forward to seeing pictures of these bentos. Sorry, I have not been much on Discord or really anything else lately. I had a very sad that had to be. I had to be sad for a while. It's part of the process. Right, cabbage is prepared. All right, now we need green onions for both the stir fry and no, wait, not the stir fry. We need the green onions for the egg drop soup and the fried rice. There we go. Those are the words. Do your homework, Revenant. The sad is important. It's part of the Gothic lifestyle. That is right. I had to take about a week to dramatically be sad about it. Honestly, there was a lot of sleeping involved. But I am back now, so the sad is over. Right, we're going to throw a few mushroom tops in there because I like mushrooms, and everybody else is going to just pick them out, but you know what? I don't care. I want the mushrooms. So I'm cutting them into quarters. So what I'm doing is I am just putting my thumb on the stem part, and I'm popping that out. You can also cook this part, but typically I like to save these if I'm doing like a stuffed mushroom. And sorry if I'm not interacting with chat very much. I promise that we'll figure out how to get it onto my tablet so that I can interact in the future. This is just our test run. That's why we're doing a dish I know fairly well. Let's see. I'm excited to see how the egg drop soup turns out. I remember us mentioning it once. Oh, I love making egg drop soup. I recently figured out how to make an instant powdered version that all you need to add is the eggs and the green onions and the soy sauce. And then if I figure out where I can get dehydrated powdered soy sauce and dehydrated green onions, it'll literally just be add the required amount of water and stir in some egg. But that's a little ways off. But I would love to just have instant homemade egg drop soup. I like making my own powders and spices and things, because I can control like the amount of salt and stuff in it. You know what? I'm gonna cut the dried up piece off of here and throw the stems in. Get in there. You'll be lovely. Dun, 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 dun. There. All right, let's see. Some last week. Oh yeah, that was it. Yep. If you ever figure out where to get that, let me know. I'd love to put together a kit for myself too, since it's comfort food. It is. Let's see. I am gluten-free now, so I've been enjoying the small things. Indeed. Yeah, most of what I cook right now is gluten-free because one of the children has a moderately severe gluten sensitivity, like tummy cramping, hives, that whole 9 yards. So we're trying not to poison the child, which is why we're using tamari instead of soy sauce. All right, mushrooms are prepared. Go ahead and do some green onions, and then we need to do the ginger and the garlic, and I think that's basic. Oh wait, and then the chicken. Can't forget the chicken. We need that. You can't have a chicken and vegetable stir fry without the chicken. Right. So the difference between green onions, spring onions, and chives green onions, this is what they're supposed to be. They're grown specifically for this. Spring onions are onions, but they're baby onions. So when you pull it out of the ground rather than a big bulb at the end, it's thicker and it's got a broader shoot that looks closer, like somewhere between a green onion and a leek. And chives, I believe, are more closely related to garlic, but I'm not entirely sure about that one. I like to keep my rubber bands. Alrighty. Let's make sure there's no... Aha! I knew I'd find one. There's always one in the bundle that has a weird layer that has started to go bad. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and rinse these. Let's see. Bloating, pain, hives, and severe... Yep. It would just be veggie stir fry if you forgot the chimkin. Indeed it would. I mean, there's still going to be so many eggs in this meal, I wouldn't be too worried about protein content. Because there's going to be 4 eggs in the egg drop soup and 8 eggs in the fried rice. Go. All together now, all together now. So for this, we're going to want just the green parts. Get in there. We'll set this aside. Let's see. Are scallions like green onions? Not sure if they're the same. I've always seen them used interchangeably, but I'm not entirely sure. Uncommon, do you know the answer to this one? My onions in some water. All right, let's see. Where's my other metal bowl? I have one more metal bowl. I think I have one more metal bowl. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, no, I have them all. All right, let's see. Uncommon says, I invented a dish at work today for my clients. It was one of my residents' turns for dinner, and he wanted chicken and pasta, so I took a baking dish down with the pasta, cut up celery and onion, bell pepper, tomato, very small, and covered it with cream of celery soup and placed the chicken on top, covered, and baked it. Ooh, that sounds tasty. Alrighty. Let's get another bowl. Do I think my green onions will fit in here? Yeah, I think I can make it work. Get in there. Smush, smush, smush. No grunions left behind. Oh, is it not? Oh, success. Thank you, my love. All right, Revenant has hooked up the chat. Everybody around in the chat, a round of applause for my husband. The real brain behind the operation, because I can barely use my email. I am not tech literate in the slightest. see. Scallion is a young green onion. Good to know. Onion, spring onion, green onion, scallion. All right, let's go ahead and wipe off the cutting board because it's got a bunch of little things all over it. My phone? Yeah. Revenant managed to lose his phone in an Uber. Honestly, I thought it was going to be me first. Activates the Om Nom dance. Okay, fine. Evie, for you, I will do the Om Nom dance. Don't laugh too hard. Nom 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 nom. For you, for Bubble. And that is now saved to the internet for posterity for eternity. There was a button when I was on Twitch that would activate the Om Nom song. And I would do the Om Nom dance, and Evie, Bubblefish, loved making me do that. Also, I'm still drinking my Monster, but here you go, Bubblefish. I offer you a sip of my Monster. Traditions must be honored. Alright, let's go ahead and prepare our ginger. Alright, so I'm going to cut the little knobbies off of this. Just to make my life easier. You know your knife has been properly sharpened when it can go into ginger really easily. Wait, that's actually so cool. A monster with a lid? No, it's I like my 24-ounce monsters, and they come with a pop top because they assume you're not going to drink the whole thing in one sitting. That is not the case with me. I was impressed. At least I waited until you had no knife in your hand. Alright, so for this, I'm going to need my mini grater and a Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and take the side of the spoon and use it to scrape the rest of the skin off. So that our gingers are naked. Naked gingers. Now for this, you want to use a spoon that does not have a rounded edge, but has kind of a, not so much sharp edge, just one that has an edge. So I recommend using the spoon that you don't like to eat with, because the edges are sharp. Oh yes, the rainbow spoons. My friend has the best taste in kitchen aesthetics. Also, for anyone just joining us, this is not my kitchen. This kitchen is on loan by the grace of my friend who has all the coolest gadgets. Let's see, I drank Starbucks energy drink today and it made my tummy hurt. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got a full quality. Okay, that's good, that's good. Thank you for letting us know. Oh, well, a grapefruit spoon might work. I mean, if it has a sharp edge, it should work pretty well, but you don't want it to be too sharp because you could accidentally cut your hand. Which is the only reason I haven't gone at a spoon edge with a whetstone for this. I still remember the first time I used fresh ginger. It was so amazing because, like, I'd been using powdered ginger before that. And then I finally got up the courage to use fresh ginger, and it was one of those moments where you're like, what have I been doing with my life? All right, we now have naked ginger. Gonna take the nubs I cut off and boil them in a simmer pot later, I think. Make the whole house smell like ginger. Baking my first cake on... That little heart is in the way. But, good luck on the cake. What kind are you cooking? Or baking? And will there be pictures? Alright, get a little bowl because ginger gets very messy when you, attempt to grate it. Our gluten-free bakery went out of business, so Mom and I are gonna have to cook my birthday cake. So if you're looking for good recipes, for gluten-free recipes, ooh, gluten-free rum cake with a berry syrup. So maybe not for your birthday cake, because you clearly have a vision already. But when it comes time for you to bake other gluten-free things, it's hard. When it comes time for you to cook other gluten-free things or bake, look up the website called the Loopy Whisk. That's where we get a lot of our gluten-free recipes from, and they have some phenomenal things. Actually, I haven't done any gluten-free baking on stream in a while. I should do that soon. As long as the weather is below 60. Alright, so a lot of the fibrous part is staying up on top, and I'm just going to squish that so a lot of the juice comes out, because I'm after the juice here. But yeah, the Loopy Whisk. All of their stuff is gluten-free, and they have some vegan options too, and their food is really good. Like, they do not sacrifice quality for gluten-free. Like, I enjoy healthy eating, but I am not going to sacrifice my food's flavor for healthy eating. It just requires going about it a different way. And trust me, I'm still going to eat pizza. Nice and greasy. I open the website and instantly find a gluten-free rhubarb upside-down cake. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that entire website is gluten-free baking and cooking and things like that. I haven't explored the whole site. I usually just go there to specific recipes that my friend who owns this kitchen sends me because I wanted to bake something for their gluten-free child. So the reason I'm grinding up this ginger is because we're using American stock. So if you've made egg drop soup and it doesn't taste quite like it does at that really authentic seeming Chinese restaurant, that's because you have to look at the base ingredient, the stock, the broth, right? And in Western countries like the US and Europe and things like that, chicken stock is made with chicken and then carrots, onions, and celery. It has a rich, bold flavor that's meant to have a lot of depth of flavor. However, in East Asian countries, their chicken stock is much lighter and more refreshing in flavor. It's made with chicken, ginger, and green onion, so it has a very mild flavor. So the way we're going to work around that today is we're going to slightly dilute our chicken broth, and then we're going to add a little ginger and some green onion into it, so that we can simulate a little better the taste of Chinese chicken broth stock. Yes, there is. If you can find light chicken stock in stores, go with that and then add a little ginger into it. And that should do a pretty good job at getting a similar flavor profile. How you doing, my love? Is that monster helping you? Bye! Okay, I think that should be enough, though. Ginger overboard. I'm sorry, Ginger. You are dead to me now. It fell on the floor. It's okay. I think I got enough for my purposes. All right, we're gonna go ahead and wash this off right away, because if you let vegetables of any kind just dry into a cheese grater of any kind, it's going to be a nightmare to clean it up later, because it will dry into a little bit of cement, and then you gotta either chip it off or soak it off. It can get a little weird. Go. I'm really hoping when we eventually get to the Philippines, I'll be able to set it up so while I'm preparing food, I can face the camera. But unfortunately, this is the only configuration where I'll be able to access everything in the kitchen while I'm cooking. All right, so we got that. Now we just need to do some garlic. Where is my recipes? All right, so let's see. I think I just need it for the stir fry and the fried rice. Oh, my partner's ex lives in the Philippines. Yes, my husband and I are attempting to move to the Philippines to take care of my mother-in-law, who is recently widowed. She's elderly. She's starting to have the memory problems. Our last phone call with her was really hard because although her health is reasonably good for her years, she is convinced that she is passing away, which is alarming because a lot of times when someone starts talking like that, it's a little, you know. But she just kept telling us that she didn't want to pass away here because she's in Iowa until we can take her home to Manila. She keeps saying she doesn't want to pass here. She wants to be home so she can be buried in the family mausoleum. And I'm just like, go. But I am hoping that I will have my Ko-Fi shop up and running. So I'm probably going to be streaming on YouTube every other day, and then working on my other things in the days in between. So like we're doing Chinese food today, and then tomorrow I'm going to work on my Ko-Fi shop where you're going to be able to get my handwritten recipes, like digital downloads of them, and my new coloring page. And then on Sunday we're going to do lasagna. Hopefully the power doesn't go out this time. And then I'll be taking Monday off. And then on Tuesday, we're going to be doing Tex-Mex, and we'll be making California burritos with carne asada inside, my dad's Spanish rice recipe, and my abuela's refried black beans. So we're working on trying to schedule in advance. The failure on the power man went out as I was about to stream. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, the last time I did lasagna, we got everything ready. It was ready to go into the oven, and I heard a loud bang. There's a transfer yard across the way over the tree line. Heard a loud bang. Everything in the house flickered and then went off. Turns out some klutzy person on the other side of the tree line decided to run their truck into the power line that fed this neighborhood and took out the power line. I was very upsetty. I live for lasagna. Like, I was ready to go out there, go through the trees, cross the creek, and go yell at someone. And then I decided that the driver was probably already having a bad enough time, and they did not need me coming out there and yelling. Summer the other day and had a chicharron chimichanga. Ooh, ooh, do tell. That sounds delightful. So what all was in that? Because I know a chimichanga is a fried burrito, essentially. And I know a chicharron is pork rind, usually. It was delightful. Lasagna is my favorite too. I'm glad I found a gluten-free brand I like. We will be doing, so my lasagna is by and large gluten-free, and then I'll be working with 2 pans and 2 different types of noodles because the baby bat likes their lasagna, and if I do not make them a gluten-free lasagna, there will be a revolt. They will probably set the house on fire. Go, and now we spank the garlic. It was the chicharron with cheese inside. I think that's all. Oh, okay. I see. The chicharron was the burrito. Sounds delightful. Am I measuring my garlic? Absolutely not. I'm just literally chopping up a whole head of garlic and calling it good. I live for garlic. Have to pop in Sunday evening. Indeed. I'll probably be starting a little earlier on Sunday because the lasagna will take longer than stir fry does. Like I said, I decided on something relatively easy today where most of the work was in the chopping and the prep work. I'm also thinking I might start pre-recording doing the prep work and then live streaming the actual cooking. What do you think? And then, you know, releasing the prep work as just a standalone video. But I'm not entirely sure.
Here, in a greatly simplified form, we have the 4 elements needed in every timepiece.
Gardy? You could do prep work short, I think, if you do voiceover. I will have to look in what shorts are. I'm still figuring this out. Like, part of the reason why I'm doing every other day right now is because that'll give me time between streams to figure things out because I am the definition of not tech literate. Shorts are basically TikTok. I see. Well, I'd want to do a full video of the prep work so that if anyone is interested in like how to cut a vegetable, they can go look at how I cut the vegetable in the way that they did. So I want them to be detailed. But I also want to make sure that people who are here for the cooking can just jump into the stream when it's time to stream the actual cooking, you know? I have to spank it again. There we go. Yeah, I think I'll do every other day. We'll live stream on YouTube, and then every day off day I'll be working on my recipes and making TikTok videos. I think that should work. Go. I might also spend some time in Snack and Chat on Discord. Short option 2, not fussed right now. Just heard YouTube has been favoring shorts lately. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, I'll have to do, what do you call it? Adobo mano again for YouTube. And lumpia. Oh, the lumpia was so good. I've been learning Filipino dishes. One, because I want my mother-in-law to have familiar things so that while her memory is going, she's not too distressed. But also, I would like to assimilate well because my entire thing is food, but also culturally accurate food. So I figure if I'm going to be living in Manila for an indefinite amount of time, I should probably learn how to make the common foods out there. I've already learned how to make adobo manok, pancit, taho, lumpia. What else have I learned? Champorado. Champorado. I'm still working on the enunciation. I pronounce everything Spanish, with a Spanish accent. I'm trying really hard not to roll my R's on everything. Lumpia. Oh, so delicious. Frog egg syrup. Yes, Bubble. You know what I'm very entertained by, Bubblefish? You have a different name on every platform I know you, and it is giggle-worthy. Because most people have the same variation of their name on different platforms, or different variations of their name. And yours is different everywhere, which is hilarious. I love it. I'm gonna join a new platform, and I'm gonna get a friend request from some random person. I'm gonna be like, is this Bubble? I'm just mentioning up my garlic nice and small. It smells like garlic and ginger. Sorry for the wait, kiddos. I promise this will be worth it. I'm almost done with the prep work, and the frying of things does not take long at all. Coffee goes here. I used to be different everywhere, but I realized it's unique enough it works everywhere. It's too long for Nintendo, though. They are meanies. Indeed. Alrighty. Cool. Just the chicken, and then we can get started on everything else. Which is not much once we've done the prep. Alright, let's get a little bowl for this. And when I start cooking, I will be moving the little camera over to the stove so that you can see what we're cooking as we're cooking it. Garlic. Alrighty, now we clean off the knife. Whee! Let's see. Prior to coming up with this name, most of my names had some variation of wolf, with Shadow Wolf being my most used name. Oh, I like it. Alright, now I'm going to wipe off this cutting board and swap this cutting board out for one that is easier to shove in the sink and wash for the chicken. Welcome back. Oh, I see the trikes came. There we go. All right, let's get one of the chicken cutting boards out. Let's see, I liked it too, but evidently there's a lot of other people that also like the name. I mean, yeah, I can see that. All right, so here we have the chicken cutting board. It is yellow. It used to have a little picture of a chicken in the middle, but it's kind of all scraped off now. Right. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and cut up our chicken, and then I think that is everything. We're ready to start the stir fry, and that does not take long at all. Going to remove these bits. I'm gonna put these back in their safe spot. Alrighty. So when you want to cut something thin, say for stir fry or hot pot or something, having your meat, your chicken, your beef, your whatever be partially frozen is ideal because it will make it so you can cut thinner slices. Yeah. So this is slightly frozen. It's got a little give to it, but it's slightly frozen still. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this so that the pieces are not terribly long. Oh. Look how thin you can slice your chicken when it is like, see, you can see light through it. Nice and thin. And that is stir fry ready chicken. Let's see, oh interesting. I have bad experiences with frozen chicken. My. I'm kind of curious to know what those experiences are though. So this was frozen solid, and then I gave it about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the size of the chicken piece you're working with. When I was first learning how to cook, I get grease burn trying to make homemade orange chicken. Oh, I see, I see. Yeah. Sorry you had to deal with that. Snap, crackle, pop. Indeed. Yeah, it wasn't in recent times, but it was a whiles back. I remember one time I left an oven mitt too close to an actual gas stove while I was streaming, and the oven mitt caught fire, and one of the chat people notified me that there was a fire next to me on the counter, and I looked over, saw the oven mitt on fire. I didn't even stop talking. I just grabbed it, snapped it against the counter, and set it further away from the flame and just went on cooking. Go. I now make sure things are thoroughly thawed. Indeed. Better safe than sorry. All right, let's try and get the rest of this cut up. Look at these pieces. These would be perfect for hot pot. Look at that. Nice and thin. Ugh, I haven't made hot pot in forever. We should do hot pot, chat. My maintenance. Look at my stove. Electric stove or gas stove? I definitely prefer a gas stove, but I'll take any stove if I get to cook on it. Made for my residence was frozen, which is why I decided to bake it for dinner so they wouldn't spend last. That's fair. Not hot enough to cook corn tortillas the other day. Oh, that does not sound good. Yeah, now that we're on YouTube, I am gonna have to do another stream where I make tamales from scratch. And yes, I know my long-term Twitch viewers have seen this many, many times before. It's like, I'm sorry, but you're gonna see it again. Because I must record it for posterity's sake. Oh, this chicken is the perfect level of frozen. Gorgeous. It does not look like chicken right now because it's still frozen. Yeah, I make my specialty is chicken birria tamales. What? Oh, shoot. 1 second, chat. I forgot to actually plug my laptop in. I'm coming, baby. Ow. Plugging my laptop in is probably a good idea. Don't shut down, don't shut down, don't shut down. I don't know if this is going to do anything to the broadcast, but fingers crossed that it doesn't. Eat. Alrighty, that should do. There. Okay. Success. Sorry about that, chat. I forgot I'm supposed to actually plug my laptop. Pro streamer. Yes. Pro streamer. Like I said, I am technologically inept to the point where I forget to actually give my laptop power. Alright, since we're just about ready here, we're going to go ahead and get the sauces started. Then I'll finish cutting up my chicken in a moment. There we go. All right. Chicken. go. I wonder if I'll be able to pull clips from here for TikTok like I could on Twitch. I've still got a lot to learn about YouTube. We kind of figured out how to get a live broadcast going, and that's as far as I've gotten. Right. And the last piece. Kiki. Get up there. Yeah, I think I'll divide the prep work into a pre-recorded video that I will release after the live stream, and then I'll live stream the actual cooking so that people can opt in or out if they want to watch me spend an hour cutting vegetables and meat. Ooh, I can also show y'all, I can do a video of how I make my homemade chicken Italian sausage where I grind up chicken thighs and make my Italian seasoning, because I'll be making my own chicken sausage for the lasagna. Might also go ahead and make the marinara sauce as well. It's tomato season. There should be a whole bunch of tomatoes on sale at the grocery store. Revenant, were tomatoes on sale at the grocery store last time you were there? You don't remember? Okay. I can check. Oh, funk. There. All right, let's go ahead and clean everything up now. Go. Remember, every dish you clean while you're cooking is one less dish that you have to clean later. Because my favorite thing to do after I've eaten a big meal is just kind of turn into a little potato and veg out. We're cleaning as we go. We're cleaning as we go. First we're gonna make some scrub, and then we're gonna do some suds. We're cleaning as we go. Alright, and I'm just gonna put this over here. I use the dishwasher as a glorified drying rack. Good enough. All right, we've got everything ready, so now we can start the cooking. First, we're going to make the egg drop soup and the Chinese clear gravy, aka Chinese white sauce. And then we're going to go ahead and do the stir fry and the fried rice. All right. Go. All right, I'm going to be moving this camera over to this counter. So if you get motion sick, now is a good time to look away in 3, 2, 1. And now we're moving the camera. Oh, there. Nice. All right, and then I'm going to, let's see, make this over here. Give me a second. I'm moving one of the cameras so that it can. There we go. Gonna move this to the other corner now. There. Much better. Okay. See, you could be changing my birthday cake ideas. Sorry for the inconvenience. All right, so for this, we're going to need our measuring cup. So this one is going to be our egg drop soup, and over here we're going to have our white sauce. So for the egg drop soup, it needs 4 cups of broth. So what we're going to do is 3 cups of broth and 1 cup of water, because we're trying to simulate Chinese chicken broth over American chicken broth, which is a little too rich and heavy. And then we're going to add a little bit of fresh water. Just to make the flavor a little lighter, and then we're going to add the juice from our ginger that we ground up. There we go. Alrighty, now we're going to save a little bit of the liquid from the broth, because what we want is for to thicken up our egg drop soup, we're going to need to mix the starch. We're using tapioca starch for authenticity, but you can use cornstarch if that's what you have. You cannot add powdered starch directly into a hot liquid, or it's just going to form chunks. And short of a high-powered blender, you're not going to be able to undo that. So you want to mix it into a cold liquid to make an oblek, I believe it's called an oblek, and then add it in and stir it in really fast so it dissolves completely. So we're going to save a little bit of that cold liquid. Put it in a little bowl so I can use the measuring cup. Alrighty, let's see, I wrote down my exact measurements here. Okay, eggs, onions. Okay, yeah. Alright, so for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically squeeze a bunch of the juice out of my ginger. I don't care if a little bit of the pulp gets in there, but I want the ginger flavor in there. That'll do. We can add more in a bit. Let's see. Upside down strawberry cake. Didn't have the room for my original plan yet, so we're good at least. That's fair. I mean, you can always make, it's like, remember, I'm assuming you're an adult. You can make a cake whenever you want to make a cake. All right, so we've got our ginger in there. Enough. Let's see. Wooden chopsticks. Revenant, would you be a dear and bring me 2 of my metal chopsticks? All right, and then for the sauce, I need 3 cups of stock. All right, and then again for this one, we're going to dilute the stock very slightly so that it has a gentler flavor. Thank you, my love. I'm going to flatten this one for the recycle. So if you want to flatten these boxes so they go into the recycle really easy, you pop their little ears. And then they flatten. Completely flat. There we go. Box went bye-bye. Get in there. Do, do, do. Whether I have the spoons to do so is another question. That's fair. That's fair. Like, I may enjoy cooking, but I am also a bit of a squirrel, so when it comes to items like Japanese potato croquettes or anything of that caliber, I like to, let this be a little stronger because I like to have a little more flavor in my sauce for the stir fry. But what was I saying? I had thoughts. There we go. Alrighty. Oh, spoons, yes. Croquettes. When it's an item that I like to make that are not difficult but tedious, I will make large batches and freeze them and then store them in Ziploc bags, like my potato croquettes. Alrighty. Okay, so for this we're going to need the Shaoxing wine. That's this stuff. Measuring spoons. All right, so right now what I'm putting together over here in the little pot is going to be the Chinese white sauce, toasted sesame oil, some garlic. How much? Who knows? Let's just throw it in there. Yeah. That looks good. Save the rest for the stir fry. Let's see. Right. A little bit of our ginger. We didn't squeeze all the liquid out of it, so we're just gonna mix that in there. Let's see, Japanese potato croquettes. Oh, I love Japanese potato croquettes. They're one of my favorite things. Oh no, I dribbled on the stove. There we go. Less mess. Alrighty. Ginger, sea salt, and a pinch of sugar. Yes, there is sugar in this. Sounds weird, but it doesn't taste right without it. So a lot of Asian dishes will have sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami in them to balance out the dish. And the dish will not taste right if it does not have all of those components. All right, let's see. Have a decent view? Cool. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to mix the starch directly into this while it's cold and then stir while it heats up. Let's see, how much starch am I using? Okay, where's tapioca starch? All right, so for this we're going to be using tapioca starch because cornstarch is an American, like continent of Americas, South America and North America, ingredient. It is not common to East Asia. Over there, they typically use tapioca starch if it's available, and there's a few other kinds, but that's the one I know the best. Go ahead and turn the light on here and the fan. All right. Okay, so we're gonna need a little over 3 tablespoons of this stuff. And what this is gonna do is this is gonna make it a sauce, nice and thick. Otherwise, we just have a soup essentially. Although this would be a delightful soup, I would drink it. Right, the only reason we're adding this in right now is because this is still cold. For the egg drop soup, however, we will be adding the tapioca starch in after we've heated it up. So we'll need to make a slurry. So before I begin heating, I want to make sure that this is fully integrated into the liquid. And you have to keep stirring because if you don't, the starch will settle to the bottom and form a thick, chewy layer at the bottom. And since we're not trying to make any kind of mochi, we're going to want to keep stirring, essentially. That's all there is to it. All right, before we get started, let's go ahead and put these little guys out of the way because they are intent on being in my face today. Here we go. Much better. All right, I'm gonna stir and begin heating. So we're gonna know that the starch has been fully cooked in once the liquid turns basically clear. And then for this one, all right, we're gonna go ahead and get this one started heating up. Now the only thing in this pot is the ginger juice and the chicken broth. So I have a friend on Xiaohongshu who I trade cooking photos with, and it's really cute. Every time I make something that is even remotely East Asian in origin, she always looks at it and goes, "It looks so local," and I think it's the cutest freaking thing ever. And I've made it so that she wants to buy an oven, because in East Asian kitchens, ovens are not a common feature. At least not the big ovens like we have here. They're more likely to have a small, almost toaster oven. Oh, hey, I just realized I can see how many people are actually watching on the top of my chat. That's better than YouTube, or than Twitch did. Yeah, it wouldn't even fit a chicken in most Asian ovens. Indeed. It's okay, it'll give me an excuse to figure out how to do the in-ground thing. That is something I want to learn. Like, so I can't eat pork. It will hurt me. But am I going to learn the Filipino technique of dig a hole in the ground, make a fire, bury a pig, and bury it? Yes, yes, I absolutely am going to. And nothing will stop me. And yes, I can stir with both hands. I can use the knife with both hands as well. Yeah, I was trying to find recipes that my friend in China could do without an oven. And the friend who owns this kitchen, she's Vietnamese, and she's like, you do know you can bake in a rice cooker. And I was like, oh, I can? So I started looking up rice cooker cakes and sending them to my friend in China who didn't know you could do that either. I am ambidextrous. Things Pacific Islanders do with pork. Oh yeah. Like, I cannot eat pork. Am I going to learn to make it? Oh, absolutely. Because not every meal is about me. Boop. Go. I'm looking forward to having easy access to banana leaves because there are a lot of recipes that I want to try that require banana leaves, and they're not entirely easy to find here, although I did see them at the grocery outlet once, and that was very interesting. Because the only other place I'd found them was the large Asian food supermarkets. And then there was perusing the white people's poor grocery store, and there was banana leaves there, and I was like, huh, this is odd. See that leathery clack. Tender skin. Uncommon is imagining that stream. That is going to be a long stream, but you know what? It's going to be freaking worth it. I long to cook the piggy in the ground. There we go. This is starting to steam, and it's turned a slightly paler color, so I think we're on our way to the starch thickening up. So once we have the sauce done and the soup prepared, we're going to move them onto the back to stay warm and switch over to the woks, at which point we will make the fried rice and the stir fry. Thankfully, I am not allergic to pork. I just can't digest it properly. So, because I need to know what I'm cooking, I need to know what it tastes like. So it's not uncommon to see me commit the sacrilege of take a bite, suck the juices out of it, and then spit the main part of the meat out just so I know what I'm making. It feels terrible to do, but you know, a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. And if there is a succulent piece of fire roasted pork in front of me, I'm going to taste it. One way or another, it will be tasted. I'm just trying not to go to the hospital in the process.
Oh, not a chance, fella. Not a chance.
What you hissing at? What you hissing at? I like pork either. I feel that, Luna. We cook a lot of chicken in this channel. We were going to do steamed fish with stir-fried vegetables, but decided to not spend the amount of money it would take to get the right amount of fish. Let's see. I think this one is starting to do a nice little simmer. There we go. This is thickening up. There we go. All right, and I didn't add salt to this one yet because I like to taste the salt level before I add salt. There we go. It's starting to get thicker. We're almost there. I like beef, but ground beef prices are so... Yeah, the price of food is slightly outrageous at this point. Like, I've been going outside and figuring out what grows here naturally that tastes good and is edible. I know that there are salmon berries growing across the creek, which is amazing. There we go. Nice and thick. Awesome. The Chinese clear gravy is almost ready. Yeah, one of the ways I handle ground meats is this this KitchenAid has a meat grinder attachment. So I like to grind my own meat up so I can control the content of what's in it. Like, I like ground chicken thighs, but unfortunately if I go to the store and buy ground chicken, it's always extremely watery, and they assume that if you're eating chicken, you want it to be because you're healthy, so it's always white meat, and it's extremely watery and just not what I'm looking for at all. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves a little tasting spoon. So if you are cooking a communal meal, you don't want to stick your personal spoon into the pot to taste everything. So you have your personal spoon. We're using the pretty purple, blue, green, iridescent one. This is pretty little rainbow spoon here. And then you use the serving utensil to add a little bit to your personal spoon, and you taste from there. That way you don't get any potential germy germs in there. Definitely needs salt. Otherwise, it's perfect. A little bit more. Ooh, let's also add yum powder. Ah, the good stuff. What is yum powder? It's MSG. Don't judge me. It's the good stuff. Revenant calls it the fancy salt. Just a little. Delightful. All right, now we go ahead and stir that in, then we taste it again. I like beef a lot, but ground beef... My apartment doesn't allow you to grow anything but one 5-gallon plant, even inside? That's rude. Like, I know they have pet rules, but good lord, plant... That's just outrageous. Oh, that's perfect. All right, the stir-fry sauce is ready. So, this is Chinese white sauce, also known... Oh, hang on. There we go. Chinese white sauce, also known as Chinese clear gravy. I've asked around. It doesn't seem to have an actual name, but if it's referred to as something, it's referred to as that usually. All right. Set this aside. All right. Egg drop soup. And then we can get stir frying. Let's see. Karam. Oh, hi. Hello, welcome in. I see you managed to find me here. It's federally funded, so my apartment. That's fair. That's fair. But yes, I found a new home here on YouTube. So we're just doing our first day. We're doing Chinese food because it's something I'm familiar with. While we figure out how all of YouTube works. All right, so this one's off. Go. Notes. All right. All right, let's see if we got enough ginger into our stock to get the flavor profile we were going for. If it's still missing something, I might add some of the white part of the green onions. Yeah, that's about what we were going for. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and bring this up to a gentle boil. We want salt and white pepper. Where's my white pepper? There you are. So you don't want to open and empty your spices directly over a steaming pot because it will cause your spices to go stale and start clumping together. Fragrances on YouTube from now on. Yes, yes. So we are making egg drop soup and then also Chinese style egg fried rice, as well as chicken and vegetable stir fry with Chinese clear gravy, aka Chinese white sauce, which is my favorite stir fry sauce. And then not tomorrow, but the day after, on Sunday, we're going to be doing lasagna. And hopefully the power doesn't go out this time. Right, a little bit of that. Let's add some salt. How's Baby Bat doing today? Baby Bat is doing good. My health is reasonably good. My joints all hurt like they always do, but my allergies are good today. I didn't take Claritin and I'm not dying. I think it's because pretty much everything that was blooming has stopped blooming. We are now moving into the fruiting season. Ooh, are you okay? It's like, don't fall down the stairs. I just told chat you were doing good today, child. I'm just finishing up the egg drop soup and then the stir fry does not take long at all. All right. All right, let's put a little tapioca starch into, so remember we set a little bit of the broth aside so that we can mix the tapioca starch into it and make a slurry that will thicken up after we simmer all of that. Where's the tapioca starch? There you are. Now, if you don't have tapioca starch, that's fine. You can use cornstarch. The world will not end, I promise. If you are using cornstarch, use a little less than you would tapioca starch. Cornstarch seems to be a little more powerful as far as its thickening abilities. Hello. Good soon. Can you put this back with the tapioca stuff? Yeah, right over there. I'm gonna use the fork that I scraped the ginger with to stir my starch. So, if you aren't familiar with the way starch behaves, it forms a non-Newtonian fluid that if you strike it fast, it will firm up, but if you gently stir it, it'll turn into a liquid. And we want to make sure it's in full liquid form before it goes into this liquid. All right, let's go ahead and mix our eggs that are going to go into the egg drop soup. That'll do. Boop. All right, where are my metal chopsticks? I had a pair of super long wooden cooking chopsticks, but terrible things befell them, so we're going to resort to these until I can replace them. Foster and Total Gamer miss you as well. Aww. Say hello. Thank you. I'm really sad I lost like my whole community. She's kind of busy today. Oh yeah, no, I'm just adjusting to trying to, because YouTube is a slightly different platform and this is kind of going to be recorded forever. A little higher pressure. No pressure. All right, so we've got our eggs whisked. All right, chicken stock, eggs, green onions, sliced, ready to go, tapioca slurry, a few drops of sesame oil. Now this part's optional, but I like to add it for flavor. So sesame oil should not be used like regular cooking oil. It's not meant to lubricate, it is meant to flavor. So this should be counted with the liquid seasonings that you have. Similar to sake and mirin and Shaoxing wine. Go, all right, we're gonna drop this down to low. Going to mix in our cornstarch slurry or tapioca slurry after we make sure, remember, stir it right before you pour it in. And then immediately start stirring so it doesn't settle to the bottom and form a gel layer. There we go. Once it thickens up very slightly, we can go ahead and add in our egg yolk, or our eggs. All right, so what you want to do is create a gentle whirlpool. You don't want to stir too vigorously. And then gently pour your eggs in. What this is going to do is it's going to create the gentle egg ribbons that this soup is known for.
Hi there. What a wonderful time for you to drop by. You know, they're just setting up to shoot a scene of our new star, and I'd love to introduce you before they begin. Honestly, we're all just bursting with excitement about this brilliant new performer. We think this will not only win every award hands down, but just going to win the hearts of people all over the country.
Now, I put a little more egg into my egg drop soup than it really originally calls for, but that's because I like it super eggy. Right? Gonna take our green onions, drop a bunch in there. Gently stir that in. All right, and our egg drop soup is ready. Gonna take that off the heat, move it to the back. Now we can get started on the actual stir fry. After I check on chat. Let's see. What will be the schedule here? Ooh, I want pictures of the bento uncommon. So I'm going to be streaming every other day. At least the plan is that I'm going to stream every other day on YouTube. And I'm going to attempt to plan out my streams and announce them on YouTube 2 days ahead of time. So today we're doing Chinese food, and then tomorrow I'm going to take the day off and work on some other things. Sunday we're going to make lasagna. Monday I'm going to take the day off. Tuesday we're going to make California burritos with carne asada. All right, I'm going to put the big one here. Let me get you back there. Make sure that's centered. And start heating this up. I like to put it on somewhat low with the lid on so the whole thing can heat up. And then we'll take this one, put it over here. All right, so we're going to use this one for the fried rice, which we will get started on first. Where's my... Oh, there's my monster. I gotta have my caffeine, obviously. So yeah, due to the size of this particular one, the larger wok, I like to let it heat up on a lower temperature with its lid on so it can get nice and hot all the way up the sides because this is an electric stove. So by allowing it to do that, I'm trapping the heat inside and heating it up more evenly. Whereas this one is smaller and it will heat up more evenly and it's a better quality wok. I got this one for free. But this is a better quality wok and it'll heat up more evenly just as is. All right, so now we need to mix our eggs for the stir-fried rice. So for the rice, we're making a simple egg fried rice. We're not going to have a whole bunch of vegetables or meat in it. It's just going to be eggs, green onions, soy sauce, and a teeny bit of sesame oil. All right, oil the pan. See? Then we're going to whisk the eggies. All right, gonna add the eggies into the nice hot wok. If it hisses, you know it's hot enough. All right. Now we're going to gently scramble this. And what you want to do is you want to scramble the eggs until they're just done, but not quite matte. You want them to still be slightly shiny. And then we're going to add the eggies, or the rice. There we go. All right, once the eggs are mostly set but still slightly shiny, what we're going to do is we're going to add a little more oil to this pan. Some garlic. I like to cook the garlic until it's just fragrant. You don't want it to be too fried or it becomes bitter. But once it's fragrant, I'm gonna go ahead and grab our rice. So this is rice that I cooked earlier this morning specifically for this dish, but typically you want to use day-old leftover rice. Let's see, 1, 2. So I need about 4 cups of this, which isn't going to be everything that I cooked, but I like leftover rice because I can use it for something else. Although having a little extra fried rice isn't bad. Screw it. So I make more fried rice than I intend. The world won't end. All right, so I'm going to break up the rice. Another good way to do this is if you want to make rice right before but don't want it to turn into a mushy mess, you can make your rice, cool it slightly, put it into a Ziploc bag and throw it into the freezer and let it sit in there for an hour and it'll basically freeze almost solid. And then you can take it apart and beat the bag and it'll break the rice into little pieces, which makes the stir frying of it very, very easy. Of course, make sure your rice is cooled before it goes into the freezer or it's going to thaw out whatever it touches. I have a headache. I'm going to rest. Okay, you get some rest, Luna. Thank you for joining us, though. I was glad to have you here for our first YouTube. All right. Now for this, we're going to need soy sauce. A little bit of sesame oil. Some green onions. So the thing I've noticed to get about tamari, because we're using tamari sauce instead of regular soy sauce because one of the children has a gluten sensitivity. Don't mind me, I'm just making a mess. Kick that under the edge of the counter so I can clean it up later. But it acts a little bit more like a dark soy sauce as far as color goes. I also recently found out there is a perfectly clear soy sauce that's not dark in color. It's very light, very pale, almost translucent. And it can be used for fancier dishes where you want that soy sauce flavor, but the color would ruin the dish. And not now, obviously. I have more important things to spend my money on. But eventually, I do want to get my hands on a bottle and try some fancy stuff. That didn't work as well as I want. I'm a little nervous to flip this or to toss things aggressively on the stove because this stove top is made of glass and I don't want to hit this thing. But I think this should be good. Let's give it a taste. Revenant, would you like to be my taste tester for the fried rice? Phew. Husband gets to use my personal tasting spoon. I'm going to turn the temperature way down on here because it's basically done. Salt? All right. All right. The verdict is it just needs a squidge of salt. There we go. That's good. Fried rice. Not perfect, but it'll do. Yep, that'll do. All right, put the lid on this one. And now for the stir fry, the moment we've all been waiting for. Ooh, that's hot. All right, additional oil. All right, and in we go. Turn the temperature up. There we go. Nothing like the good taste of caffeine. Alright, well, that does hot chicken things. The chicken was still a little bit cold and cooled down the, what do you call it? It cooled down the pan a little more than I would like. I'm just gonna scrub a couple dishes real quick, just so I can use them. I wish my cameras could be wireless. It would make this so much easier. There we go. That's more like it. So we're going to let the chicken cook until it is just cooked, and then we're going to set it off to the side for a little bit while we prepare the vegetables, and then we'll toss everything in together. Warm up. Get hotter. Right, I'm gonna move this back over there. I'm still trying to decide where this should go. That'll do. That's fine. That'll do for now. Good enough. Chicken is almost cooked. It doesn't need to be 100% cooked because it will cook for another minute or two after it comes back to the pan once all the vegetables are prepared. But it should be mostly cooked. I'm really hoping that when we get to the Philippines, I'll eventually be able to actually visit China and go see my friend there. She's not good at cooking, but her mother is. And apparently her mother would like to teach me. And I'm like, oh yeah, I will be allowed to be in China for 10 days. And I am completely happy to drop Revenant off in the city that's known for technology. I'll drop him off there, and then I'll go see my friend and spend time with her mother and let her mother teach me how to cook because I want to. Like, that sounds like a good vacation to me. All right. Chicken is pretty much cooked now, so we're going to remove it. Now there's a lot of liquid in the pan because this was still slightly frozen when it cooked. So there's a lot of ice melt off, but it's fine. The world won't end. More terrible things have happened. The point is we don't want our chicken to get cooked to the point where it becomes leather. Be like that then. It's fighting me. Screw it. Come over here. Yeah. Creative problem solving at its finest. Alright, I'm going to get rid of the excess water that's in my wok. Now I could leave that in there for flavor, but I've got plenty of flavor in my sauce. Go. So the world's not going to end. Oh. The little bottle is out of oil, and I have to fill it up again. Look. No, that'll do. Yes, I have my cooking oil by like the gallon. Don't judge me. Alright. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a little water in here. Not much. Put my broccoli in and slap the lid on it. That's just so the broccoli can like steam for a moment. It doesn't take long, but I want my broccoli to cook a little more. I like my broccoli to still be crunchy, but the other people in the house might not. Make sure these are staying hot. Good, good, good. There we go. Let that steam another moment. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our vegetables in order of cooking length time. So next we're going to add the carrots, and then we're going to add the onions, and then we add the zucchini, and then at the end we'll add the mushrooms because the mushrooms take the least amount of time to cook. All right, next up, we add some carrots. Oh. And that's what I was trying to be careful for. I think we could use a little bit more oil for our frying. There we go. All right now. I need a bigger wok. I long for a bigger wok. One day, I will own a 30-inch hibachi wok and a really big fire pit. That is all I want in life. Kitchen things. Meep. I'm adding more oil as I can feel things sticking to the bottom, because as I stated before, this particular wok, it's not the best wok. I got it for free. I wasn't going to say no to a free wok. This nice one over here, this belongs to my friend who owns this kitchen. She's got the good stuff. Right, let's throw our mushrooms in. Lost a carrot. Hi. Almost done. This is reaching the end stage. Just need to get the cabbage in there. Do me a favor, find out who all upstairs wants food. I expect Baby Bat to be eating. All right. Then when I've got the cabbage in here, this is when I like to add the sauce that I made. Obviously. Okay. Will you be eating? Oh no, more veggies. Obviously you're going to be eating, right? Alright, cool. Thank you, thank you. No, this is good. Just gonna let this steam for a minute to soften up the cabbage. Cabbage is delightful. Ooh. Broiled like it was crispy on the edges? Boiled?
Maybe. Probably.
Or marinated? Did it have a sharp, spicy taste to it? Was it slightly limp? Okay. Was it served with potatoes and brisket?
No, it was just...
I'm interested to find out. Find out from your friend how that cabbage was cooked, because I would love to know. This is just about done. Like I said, I just need the cabbage to soften up a little. More sauce. That'll break that. We're not going to do that. Right. And once the cabbage is nice and wilty, that's when I'll go ahead and put my chicken back in. Is this correct technique? I have no idea. I've never actually seen anyone cook Chinese food. So if anybody here on YouTube knows the correct technique, please, please, please let me know. Because I'm kind of flying blind. I'm just following random recipes and doing a whole lot of Google searches. I'm doing my best. All right, I'm gonna let this lower the temperature a little. Let my cabbage soften up a bit. Other than that, we're basically done. Delicious. All by myself. Chicken. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know how to raid on this stream, so... It's gonna feel really weird to just end a stream. Pyrex, cool. All right, cool. We're gonna put the chicken in and let that warm back up. I think for once, I might have actually made just the right amount for this wok. So the biggest problem that I have is accidentally overfilling my wok to the point where I can't really stir or easily toss things in it. Now, again, because this is a glass top stove that I'm trying desperately not to break, I have multiple reasons for not tossing my vegetables, but... Look at that. Look at that. Got my vegetables. Perfect. I'm so excited. All right, so I think that's going to be it for tonight. I will be posting some videos later on TikTok, and then we will be streaming again on Sunday. So today is, what's the date today? Okay, today is Friday, August 1st, 2025. So we will be streaming again on Sunday, August 3rd, 2025, and we will be making lasagna. I'm not sure what else we'll be making, but we'll definitely be making lasagna. Until then, everybody have a good night, sweet dreams, happy snacking, and may the odds be ever in your flavor.